Oh, that's a good way to start the pod.
Well, you didn't give me a warning.
Well, I thought you knew.
No.
We always just start the recording.
Well, I had something prepared.
I had a whole thing to say. I've got...
What do you...
Well, listen.
Well, who's starting this?
I'm starting it, apparently.
Well,
I'm talking.
I've got something to say as well.
We will wait for that.
Rock you.
We will. Rock you too.
All right, cool.
You mother. What? Listen, I don't know how the audience feels about it. Let me back up even further. I'm going to get a run out of the gate here today. I'm feeling good. I got up early.
Went golfing? At
the crack of dawn at 11:30 to make it to a 1 o'clock tee time. And I only played 9 holes because I was too tired. I couldn't move. I was all punch drunk from sleepiness. But anyhow, I'm what you would call an egomaniac.
You are. You think very highly of yourself. But not in a way that's narcissistic.
Ooh, well,
but in a way that it affects others.
That's right. I was going to say that every intimate relationship that I've ever had with anyone, romantic or otherwise, they have not failed to let me know that I'm a bit of an egomaniac. And I just...
Getting high in your own supply over there.
I have a top 5 list and 3 OLIs today. And I may add extra OLIs depending on how your list goes. Because we're doing more list radio, list podcast. It is scratching the sports radio gas bag itch that I have had since time in memoriam.
Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. We're recording this in my paint studio where I have plenty of sharp hobby objects to throw at Shane if he starts going on a segue. So, Shane.
I am mall cop, bruh.
Oh, we talked about that last. I don't even remember.
Mall cop. Yes. So lately we've been on a little kick, and we need to know how you, the audience, feel about this, the 40K Fanatics list phase that we're in. I mean, I feel like everybody loves a list in the first place, so there's no way this can be bad. But man, do I love making them.
You do. You really, like, other than the talking about the game itself, this has got to be one of the top 2 things that you love. We can make a list about the things, top 5 things Shane's like talks about.
I could make one. I could make one off top.
Okay, that's great.
But we've got other lists. We both have a list today, unlike last week where
I said
had
last
the only
week,
list.
you could work for Watch Mojo, get paid.
They still in the league?
I don't even know. I haven't seen a Watch Mojo thing in like years.
I don't think they're doing good anymore. They probably got bought by some conglomerate and everybody got fired.
The Multiverse of Madness thing was I think the last one that I watched ever.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happened to Epic Rap Battles of History?
Oh yeah, I was just thinking that. I was actually thinking about that because this year's an election year, and I watch like the funny president ones that they do. So it's so weird. We're so off topic, but yeah, that's great.
How it should have ended.
Yeah, that's still. I think that's still going strong. Red versus Blue
is about to be defunct because the people that make that just got let go.
Yes, which is one of my like 2 things that I was going to bring up. This I don't know, Bits box, my intro. I don't know.
I'm not sure what we're doing anymore.
Right, we're talking about anything right now.
That's right. At this point. I mean, this is the Bits box before the Bits box. This isn't even about the hobby. This is just us catching up, and we are really leaning into it. Man, look,
the toolbox maybe what snips the bits off.
You know what? It's you and me talking about random things.
It is.
That does sound like the toolbox.
Gosh, because we're a couple of tools, egomaniac tools.
I feel at this point. Instant meteoric viral success is probably not going to happen a year into doing this podcast.
Oh yeah, well we've come far,
right? But therefore, all this left and all this being added are people that like to hear us do this nonsense.
Yeah.
so being that it's the only thing that we're really good at,
yeah,
we're probably just going to have to keep on with it. But you had an announcement to make before we even get into the Bits box. So
I mean, I'm cool with doing it during the Bits box.
Well, let's hit the Bits box. Open it.
Okay. So as I said before, yes, Rooster Teeth is now gone defunct. They're like closing shop, boarding up the doors. It's pretty sad. Man, yeah, I'm surprised you know about Rooster Teeth.
I only heard about it on a podcast I listened to, but I never liked Red versus Blue or any of that kind of stuff.
For those of you who don't know, Rooster Teeth was a public, what would you call it, a producing company that was made by a few of Halo nerds back in the early 2000s when Halo was really getting big. These guys took up on the fact of recording videos. Gosh, to think of that time, we didn't even have, we had early YouTube, and we had Google Video. That's what I watched it on, was Google Video, and then it shows like Red versus Blue, and then eventually they had things like anime, and now here we are, over 20 years later, after they had a meteoric success, and they're completely different than what they used to be, but man, their success was great, and just I want to show some appreciation for those guys and thank you for all the great memories that they did. They're awesome. Red versus Blue kicks. And yeah. The other thing, sadly, we have lost a great artist on March 1st, Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z and all that. He passed away. So that was very unfortunate, and I wish well to his family and all of the people affected by his passing. Gosh, I've watched so much Dragon Ball. I even challenged myself to watch through every episode of every single show and every single movie in one sitting one time. It took me a week, and besides GT, I enjoyed every last bit of it.
No, you're lying.
GT was terrible. Just straight trash.
Okay, but you did not like all of those gravity training episodes where they were wasting time on
yes, those were the best.
Terrible.
I will agree that it was annoying, the filler episodes where they're like, next time on Dragon Ball Z, and next time on Dragon Ball Z, where they just do nothing. That was pretty outstandingly annoying when I was a kid.
There was a whole season, it feels like, that you can just leave out because they were on Namek for 3 seasons.
The Namek arc was a rough ride,
and the whole middle chunk you could take out and not miss anything. Because famously, I think Toriyama
Ginyu Force, baby.
He
love Ginyu Force.
We didn't get a lot of them until just all at once.
Fair.
They were sort of wrapped up. Wasn't it that Toriyama hadn't got that far in the manga, and so the TV show was just treading water?
It's great
until further notice.
Well, I love how once he left, that's when GT came out, and everybody hated on GT, and then apparently he comes back, and then that's when Dragon Ball Super comes back. He's like, we're going to say all that didn't happen, and all that GT stuff didn't happen, and we're just going to go with this. But to close that part, yes, appreciation to the man, the myth, the legend, and what he's done, and I hope, we can find a way to move on, because Dragon Ball was a big starter for, so many different types of subgenres, fandom. I mean, what's going to happen now? It's up in the air. So thank you, Akira Toriyama, for all of you've done. And I think I've slowed things down a bit enough, Shane. So hit him with the egomania.
I promise there's 40K talk in this 40K podcast, which is now just sports radio and nerd adjacent things.
Yes,
YouTube criticism. But I painted my first head on a stick this week.
Oh, really?
I did. I've been working on a Chaos Sorcerer in Terminator armor, continuing my...
And it looks good. I saw it the other day.
Yeah, I'm continuing my theme of characters recently, where they are of a different chapter, rather than just straight Black Legion, because I've painted enough black armor. I've decided. Now, I will paint more black armor in the future, but especially with these characters, the various Chaos Lords and unnamed characters, I'm kind of trying to, stretch out a little bit. So this guy is meant to be he's meant to be a Thousand Sun, except he's not in his helmet. So he's a Thousand Sun sorcerer who still has a body, which is neat.
Which means he's a pretty decent sorcerer.
Which means he's pretty good. Also, gives +1 armor penetration to a declared unit within 12.
Ouch. Gosh.
For everything.
Man.
So he hits them with his mind bullets, and then everything else can shoot that thing or just hit that thing or whatever, that declared unit.
It's rough.
With an extra pip of AP. So
hide your boys, hide your toys, guys.
Hide your boys, hide your toys, because he's going to be rolling up with his squad of Terminators because I've been running Abaddon with Legionary. But anyway, he's going to be neat, and for the first time, I left the head off to paint him. And I put some yellow behind him. You know how the Terminators, they all have like this cowl around their head. Not a lot of vision for backing up in the Terminator armor.
Yeah.
A lot of your periphery
sort of,
is really cut off. I look like Cornholio as I'm signaling where his periphery is blocked. I wanted that. I wanted just the inference of that glow effect coming out of the armor.
Ooh, I love that.
That you often see where
like
people
on Horus or Abaddon.
Yeah, when people go hard on Horus and Abaddon. I wanted a little bit of that.
I'm actually going to be doing that on my gas skull.
Yeah, it looked great. And this looks fine, but it was the first time
It's fine.
I took my Gorilla Glue brand poster tack and made a little stump of it and put the head on a pike and on a painting handle and primed it and painted it up totally separately. And I've been tripping. I've been doing it wrong. Do you know how much easier it was to paint that head when I could just turn it and hit a cheek instead of getting flesh tones all over the edges of my various shoulder pads and arms and stuff?
Just put on a stick.
Head on a stick, baby.
Fix your problem?
Fixed it. Looks good.
Nice.
Got the head glued in. Let me tell you, it's a little stressful. So you get your head done, and it looks really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very small, and it's got a little piece of sprue at the bottom. You got to trim that off, which, I don't know. I've seen people cut that piece of sprue off and have it just, like, perfect at the bottom, but I thought, I'm going to leave quite a bit of sprue bit here.
Yeah.
So that then I can form my poster tack around it, stick that to my paint handle, right? And then my thinking is, that's going to have me have a smaller place to fill in with black of, their collar at the bottom. Because otherwise, you got a big old bunch of bottom neck that you got to paint. Yeah. And, a whole bunch of it, I feel like, won't get primed that way. So,
it drives me nuts when I see some people actually paint Terminators. They don't paint the back of their heads or helmets.
Yeah, I mean, I could have not painted the back of the head.
Right?
You don't need to.
Ugh.
You don't need to. You can't see it.
I mean, yeah, you can't see it, but I know it's there.
I mean, let me tell you what's stressful. I took my super glue. I put my gel super glue, which I've been using a lot of. It works really good. I put it down, and the Terminator Sorcerer kit, the head doesn't even fit like down in a hole. It sort of sits back against there.
Yeah.
So there's glue on the back of his head.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but I have him kind of looking off at an angle toward his gun as if he's got his staff up in the left hand. He's got his gun down at the right. He's standing on that stupid rock. I hate that rock. I could do without the rock at Games Workshop. And he's looking out to the right as if he's about to raise his combi weapon and do some mortal wounds, some devastating wounds on 4-up to some infantry.
Okay. I like that better than, most people go with the melee weapon, like pointing out. So you went with like the actual gun.
Well, it's a combi weapon / chainsword thing, and then he's got a staff in the other hand.
Yeah.
But he looks cool. I'm gonna have to buy another to get the Chaos Lord and Terminator armor. And he'll probably be done in Black Legion scheme.
Okay. I mean, you don't like the chaosified pointy rocks that look like arrows?
No, because it's too hard to make it look like any piece of base, I feel.
Oh, okay. Like natural forming terrain.
Yeah, and all my guys, all the rest of my 40K army is on desert bases with flowers and grass, with the occasional real rock.
So it doesn't match.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't match, which I did some stuff to zhuzh it up, and also he takes up the entirety of it, and he's got his little, he's got his little, what you call it, familiar, Chaos Familiar, I believe they call it. He looks like a mutated Watcher in the Dark or something because he's holding a sword.
Oh yeah, that's it's like a little chaos. Like I think it could be a Nurgling or like some kind of minor Chaos Familiar, but it's dressed just like a what'd you say? The Watcher in the Dark.
Like a Watcher in the Dark. I mean, he's holding a sheathed sword. It makes no sense.
You look at all the Dark Angels characters; they have a Watcher in the Dark just like that. But then you look over here, and it's got a chaosy, pointy. I don't want to say the grinning his mouth, little baby demon monkey.
Yeah, and I didn't know what to do with him. I painted his cloak purple and made him fleshy, and that was it. But that's probably all I have time for in the Spitz box because we've got dueling top 5 list to get to.
Yes.
What did you do in the hobby, real quick?
Well, I have been busy tallying votes. First off, I painted some Shatterpoint, Star Wars Shatterpoint. Second off, I finally got my Space Marine primed for this month's challenge, but I also tallied the votes for our Orc challenge that we are doing.
Who won? I cannot wait for this.
So, I will do second place with 20 votes. Whatever you do for drum roll.
Drum roll.
Insert drum roll effect.
I'm not going to do that.
It was yours.
Oh, I lost.
Yeah, I forget what it called.
So
Helmet head. Yes.
It's a little anticlimactic, a 2-man race, isn't it?
Well, I will say yes. It is a little anticlimactic because if we had 3, I could start with the bottom and be, fancy about it. But
top 3 list.
20 to 25.
Oh, that's closer than I thought.
That is very close.
That's a moral
That
victory.
was very close.
That's a moral victory for your local Legomaniac hobbyist.
So you didn't do something wrong. So Jawboy won, and Jawboy is my orc. So if you guys get the chance, go on our socials. Check out the pictures of those on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and everything, on the TikTok, and you can see the video, the photos of them. So yeah,
I
posted one on YouTube as well.
I am, of course, a gracious loser, and therefore I will make excuses at this time.
And as with most of our competitions, as we've done as of late, we will donate those 2 models to our local game store, the Foundry here in Paragould.
And you gave me option to pick a knob, and I just grabbed one because
You did, you fool.
I'm very whatever about most of my 40K stuff. And I got about halfway through painting that guy, and as you can see on the socials, he's got a lot of metal on him. His whole face is obscured by a ridiculous metal hat.
Yep.
He looks like the pan shot guy from the Ballad of Buster Scruggs on Netflix.
But you nailed the teeth, though.
Yeah, I did the best with what I could, but the problem was there wasn't anything going on him. I felt like
Blasé.
He's a little. I think that the model got me more than anything. If he had a T-shirt of some sort, I could have really went to work.
Yeah.
Instead, I got my rust out and my sponge, and you can only do so much.
And I will say,
But good on you.
Yeah,
good on you.
I went hard.
You went hard. I
went scorched earth.
I painted Professor X. Check him out on our Whip Wednesdays and close the biz box.
Okay, Shane. What are we talking about today?
Oh man, I'm telling you, we need your feedback, folks. Get at us on @40K Fanatics on X. Get in the YouTube comments whenever this thing comes out on YouTube, because it does. Do you have the Spotify comments turned on?
That's a thing?
That's a thing you can do.
That's a thing?
You can put polls and everything in Spotify. Casey's going to get that going
I guess I'll get that
for this
going.
week or next. But we need to know if you like these top 5 lists, because I sure like doing them. And honestly, whether you like them or not, we probably will do them periodically. In fact, I think as we sit here talking, there's reveals pending. There's going to be new models and things revealed soon. And so that will take up the next little bit as the yoke of content and the burden thereof
A lot of reveals
trudges along into the future. But today, we are giving you our individual top 5 lists of our favorite factions.
Whoopee!
In 40K /the hobby.
Oh,
I might have went off the board.
I knew that. I knew this is where I was going. He turned it into a game pod, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll let you go first. Today. It was subject. This was your topic for the week, so let's. I'll give you the honor of going first.
All right, and here's the other thing, folks. We need to see your top 5 list of favorite factions down in the comments below, so that we can all play, and maybe we can all berate one another on their choices. Right? Like if somebody puts Tau at number 1.
I will fight you.
That's right, you commie.
I will fight you.
Spoiler alert, Tau does not make my list. I've got 3 OLIs. What does OLI stand for, Casey?
Bonus fries.
It stands for outside looking in. It's almost in the list, but not quite.
What you got for your OLI, sir?
Well, first of all, tell me, do you have any OLIs?
Nah. No, I
Oh,
don't.
my gosh. All right, I'll run through them quickly.
Actually, I do have one.
Okay.
Okay.
Save your OLI until we get to the last OLI for me. That way we're all back and forth.
All right, go ahead then.
OLI number 1. So this is the furthest one down the line. The Ultramarines. The Blue Boys. The Blueberries.
Very interesting. Now, this doesn't imply that he hates them. This implies that more that you like.
I like them. They didn't quite make the top 5, but I do like them. There's something about just...
a Superman vibe.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah,
it's like the Superman vibe.
I've always said that.
It's the cookies and cream, the chocolate, the vanilla of the 40K thing, which is
the superhero shows up to save the day.
Yeah, and it's like it's not complicated. It's just the good guys are in blue. Ultramarines, my first OLI. My second OLI. I'm going to go off the board.
Mm-hmm.
The Nighthawk. The Ghosts from Age of Sigmar.
Oh, get out of here.
Oh, they're awesome.
That was a 40K list, sir.
Well, it will be.
Well, it is an OLI, so...
Outside looking in.
There you go.
Go ahead with your 1 OLI. This is as close to the top 5 as it can get.
Okay. My OLI would have to be the Necrons.
Ooh.
Since we have done the podcast about them and the War in Heaven and everything we've done.
Since we've been playing the Pariah Nexus campaign, Crusade.
Yes, and the Pariah Nexus campaign. I will admit they've started to grow on me. Their stories, the way they act, a lot of that's starting to grow on me, and I think they're pretty respectable. A lot more respectable than certain other factions. Talking about the Tau.
My number 3 and final OLI, the closest one. And this one, you could say, is off the board, but I have an argument against it. The Skaven. I love the idea of crazy rat men.
Technically, the Skaven are in 40K.
Okay, well, people have told me that they absolutely are not in 40K and that they're from another dimension. They don't exist in the lore of 40K. That's what I've heard from multiple sources, to which I say, that is ridiculous. I dismiss your reality and substitute my own because
that's my boy.
The idea that we got all this country, all this universe, all these strange and faraway systems, and we can't have a squad of rat men? Come on, guys. Skaven are my OLI. That brings us into the top 5 list. Casey, what is your number 5 favorite 40K faction?
My favorite number 5 40K faction now, that would have to be the Kroot.
Well, that's the Tau.
Nope, they work with the Tau.
Oh my gosh, we are already into controversy.
Hey, look, anybody who actually knows the Kroot will let you know that Kroot are actually pretty dope. I've read a couple books about them. They were in Dark Angel's book. There was one in an orc book about Gaskell, and there were a few more that I've recently read about. So, how are we doing this? What are we saying? Like, what we like exactly about them? Or
yeah, why do they deserve to be on your list? But then again, it's your list. You do it however you want.
Growing up, I was a big Halo fan. I took pride in learning about a lot of different races. The Kroot are basically the jackals from Halo.
I don't know anything about Halo.
Yeah, they are. You're a heathen. So these Kroot are basically pirates. They don't work with the crew because they believe in the greater good. They actually do it for the pay. So they get their own ships, they get their own squad, they get their own way, and they just work alongside. The only deal is they don't get to eat the Tau.
Yeah, because the Kroot are like
you are what you eat.
They're Loki Necron. Tyranid about the whole thing, right?
The
Necron aren't eating anything.
They adapt. The more of a different species they eat, the more they adopt certain physical traits. Like they get too big if they eat orcs, but they also get kind of stupid. So yeah, but 5 Kroot.
My number 5. I'm going to be similar to you in that I'm going to be surgical. I'm going to get in there with a scalpel on this one.
Okay.
It's the Aldari. Specifically,
get out of my house.
Specifically, the
out.
Specifically, the Harlequins. Why?
Okay.
See,
Okay.
you were off the reservation. I brought you back.
You kind of did, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
All right. The Harlequins look so fun because they're like circus performers. They're a Cirque du Soleil act. I don't know how. I don't know how the heavy metal team has painted so much checkerboard and
They got the orc painters to do it.
Yeah, Queen of Hearts type stuff on their little tights. But man, if ever I had all the time and money in the world.
Any lore reasons?
No, I don't know anything about them. But they look cool.
They do look dope.
Also, gonna be a lot of that in my list.
They need new models. They need a refresh.
They need to get their codex. They need to have 2 detachments at minimum just for Harlequins, so that you can have 2 flavors of just the performer silliness. Your number 4, sir.
My number 4 are the Votan, or the Squat, as they used to be called. I love the lore about them. I love the models, the way they play. They came off the way you think that they should come off on the tabletop when they did. I loved how they released them with the April Fool's prank, and their explanation about where they've been was perfect. I love how they love fighting orcs, hate the Tyranids, and don't agree with the Imperium 100%.
I like how we have 2 totally different lists so far, because they did not make my list, and the reason for that, I didn't.
Not enough.
I didn't even think of them, but. I don't like this whole sort of tech mercenary thing.
Really?
The whole Votan and their leagues or whatever. Like what is it? The Votan's like some sort of AI that isn't that how it works?
STCs.
Yeah.
The main problem behind the Horus Heresy.
Yeah. It's all a bit to me.
I love it. Their armor, the weapons, dwarves in space, deep rock galactic. Let's go. Votan are my number 4.
My number 4 are the demons, but not the corn demons.
Really? Because they're too stereotypical.
All the demons besides corn. I don't like all that red.
Red is kind of a pet.
It's just. I just.
To
you
paint,
know,
yeah.
they just end up looking a little dirty. It's hard to highlight them up without making them pink. And then if you're going to make them pink, they might as well be Slanesh. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My favorite demons. If I'm going to really split hairs,
okay.
Nurgle demons,
yes,
Slanesh demons.
Wow.
Can kind of do without the Tzeentch demons, can kind of do without the Khorne demons. I am here for what's his name? Be'lakor.
Be'lakor, yeah.
Day. I love we talked about it last week.
The Demon Prince. Maybe he needs to get his own 40K lore pod. What do you think?
Be'lakor?
Mm-hmm.
I would listen to that. I would like to learn, but I also love the way that the demon characters are wild, and then also the big ones, the greater demons, are all like a 2-pack kind of thing, where you get your standard whoever, and then you get the named whoever, I love that, the Rodigus versus the Great Unclean One type thing. I think that's really cool. So demons are my number 4. Who you got at number 3, Casey?
My number 3, I will put Space Marines. I guess Space Marines, just in general.
All of them?
No, I'm going to say Loyalist Space Marines.
Well, yeah,
Loyalists.
Obviously.
Loyalist Space Marines for this one. So I just love the variety, but I don't really want to put Ultramarines in that box, because my thing is the outliers, the guys who are up against the wall. You know, Ultramarines, they do have that problem, like the Superman problem, where they're just the best and the brightest, and they win everything. They are the heroes of 40K. I like your Raven Guard, your Flesh Tears, your Blood Angels, the guys who are up against it all the time and keep going, and they don't win. They just continue to move and move and move through the adversity, despite it keeps getting worse.
Did your painting that Imperial Fist commission set you on this path?
I don't think so.
Because as I've been reading the Pariah Nexus fluff in that Crusade book, which I think I may want to review soon.
Share the book, sir.
Shane is having a moment, which is...
You've been talking about Imperial Fist a couple times.
Well, it's not that. It's that I think Crusade's my favorite way to play.
It is
full stop.
fun. We played a game this weekend, and it was the best.
It was so close, and it was so fun having everybody like have a
Wow.
stupid name and make, and do deeds and stuff.
Dude, it was
get
the
stuff at the
best.
end. Man, I can't wait to play some more. Shout out to literally anybody in the world that wants to play Crusade with me.
We will do it. We have a table at his house, and we have a mat soon. So
Yep, it's cool. All right, so your number 3 is all the good guy Space Marines.
yes,
A broad number 3.
yeah. I love Flesh Tears. I love Raven Guard. I love White Scars. I like the Outliers the most. They're my favorite boys. But I fancy the hero. The guy who goes into it. Your Batman. Not so much Superman, like we talked about with your Ultramarines, but the Batman characters, your Red Hood characters, the guys who are just as bad or maybe just a little better, but still go through it every day.
Well, my number 3.
Number 3.
I got your Batman for you.
Oh boy.
My number 3, and they too
Oh,
are
no.
having a moment right
I know
now.
where this is going. I feel like I know.
Oh, do you?
Is it Night Lords?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the Blood Angels.
Hey!
I mean, the Dark Angels. I'm sorry, the Dark Angels. I fumbled the ball.
You love Dark Angels.
I do. Now,
but he
why?
got the name wrong.
Why do I?
Lionel Johnson, smite this man.
I like the Dark Angels because they've got so many characters.
My Watcher in the Dark is going to come out of the living room and come and get you.
Man, I'm telling you,
But you said what?
they've got so many characters.
They do. They
I
don't have
mean,
the most, but they do have a lot.
I mean, they're close, right?
Space Wolves have 11.
Really?
Yeah.
But do they all have a model?
Yes.
Wow. But are they all fairly new models? Because that's the thing
Ooh,
now
that's
with
a
the
good
new
point.
Asmodai, with the new Lionel Johnson. I mean, I
Gosh,
guess
they look great.
they all are just incredible, and their lore is cool.
Makes you want to start an army, huh?
It does, because I like the idea of them going after the Fallen and chasing after Cypher, and Cypher's always popping up with my guys in the Black Legion, and it's like, listen, there may come a time where your boy has got a Dark Angels army and a Chaos Space Marine army, and I will go back to the old standby of playing with myself. Who you got at number 2?
Number 2, Heretics and Renegades.
Man, another hugely, like, you know what? You're naming everybody.
Yes, but But the reason is there's too many to choose from. There's too many.
It's a top 5 list.
Yeah, I know. But Heretics and Renegades, and I will.
You
I
had
will
6.
and I will make this specific. Okay, your Red Corsairs, your Firehawks, your Black Dragons, all of the Chaos Space, the Alpha Legion, the Night Lords, the Iron Warriors. These are the guys who are not necessarily loyalists, but they're not Chaos Kool-Aid drinking word bearers or Black Legionnaires. They are in it for themselves, or they're in it for the betterment of others, and they just keep trucking. Red Corsairs, chef's kiss. They are way better than the Black Legion. Huron Blackheart, you have my vote for War Master, sir. Heretics and Renegades. Number 2. Go ahead.
You just don't want to make anybody mad. Casey. Casey.
I probably did with just calling a few of those loyalists Heretics and Renegades.
Casey is pandering. You're pandering.
Now, if I said Chaos Space Marines...
You started with the Kroot.
Oh, that's fair.
You talked all this noise about
well,
the
I'm just
Tau,
saying
and you're like,
they're refreshed.
the Kroot?
Pretty good refresh.
I know, they do look good.
I'm not going to get them, but...
No,
Ooh.
no. Because they're too close, if we're being honest.
You'd have to play Tau to play them, so I'm not doing it.
Well, they're too close in aesthetic. And I'm being vague here because they're not that close. But
Predator?
they are often done green. And my number 2, of course,
Oh.
the Orcs.
Yes!
Okay, so why do the Orcs make number 2 on my list, as I don't have
Why
a whole
do
lot
they
of orkiness?
jimmy your jams?
Why do they? Because they're silly. And you know what I like to do? Make silly lists, play silly missions, do narrative things that, you know.
You got a taste of my silliness this weekend at that Crusade game.
Yeah, your boys didn't have it. Your boys didn't have it. But I've painted one orc ever, and it was as much fun as I expected it to be. Though I was not pleased with the model that I selected. I think if I had 10 boys to paint, I'd be rocking.
Yeah, you'd be pretty good.
So the orcs,
You're definitely battle ready.
The entire concept of Wa energy is
Big Wa energy.
hilarious to me. Just the idea that we're just gonna get a crumpin' going. We're gonna throw in some various adversaries, get a stew going, right?
Are we talking about crude again?
No, we're talking about the orcs, man.
Yeah.
They don't look.
Spicy.
The orcs are the only ones that if they're busy fighting the Imperial Guard and the Space Marines show up, they get more hype.
Yeah, they're successful. Yeah, they're the happiest people in the 40K setting in all the grim darkness. So yeah,
Orcs are my number 2. You've done your number 2, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was like
Heretics and
40,
Renegades.
45 chapters of duders.
My number 1.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna
Orcs.
gush on orcs.
Yeah, I like the boys.
Why do you like the boys?
Well, when I was a kid, I got into the Assault on Blackreach box, and orcs just drew me in, man. I spent all these hours looking into a buddy's codex as I was looking at all these, and orcs just stood out to me. They're fun, they're wacky, and they can also be grimdark too. You know, you look at different factions, and they're either super edgy or kind of comic relief a little bit. But orcs, they can do both, and I think that's a really respectable thing.
I don't know because so do you subscribe in any way to this idea that the orcs don't belong in 40K because
Oh, definitely not. No,
Like-
because and I'll tell you why. Any faction in the 40K universe that takes a licking and gets stomped, it hurts their reputation in the real world. Okay, now Pariah Nexus, your Warzone Carcharodon, that big Leviathan thing that happened where the orcs lost in Octarius. You're going to hear about it for days, whoever lost. Like, when the Tyranids won, everybody's like, oh, great, Tyranids won, that's awesome. But for the orcs, people still were hyped for orcs. Now, if the Tyranids lost, everybody'd be like, well, Games Workshop hates Tyranids, so yeah. But that's my point. Orcs will always be fun, always be popular, and always come out on top because whenever they lose, they'll just come back for another go.
I was going to lay out the argument for the listeners of what the sort of narrative is around why the orcs don't fit. Shall we enlighten them?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's that, like, your Necrons, your Tau,
Edgy.
all of your other sci-fi. I mean, especially things like the Mechanicum. They all have this Star Trekian sci-fi
Futurist.
science thing to ground their magic in some semblance of reality.
Yeah.
Okay? The orcs don't do that.
No, they throw the rule book out the window.
The rule book's out the window, and that's insane because then it's like, well, what sort of universe is 40K? Like, are there rules that have to be adhered to, and
orcs make their own,
right? But does that make any sense? Do you even give that, like, do you even allow that idea to breathe in your mind that the rest of the 41st millennium is like we are, standing on the shoulders of giants of progress, iterating on and on and on, even now as the technology is forgotten and worshipped and studied as this theological exercise.
Yeah.
That's what everybody else is doing. Meanwhile, the orcs are sticking a radio to the side of a guy's head.
Yeah, I told you about that.
You told me about this. We're going to cut a guy in half. We're going to put a radio on each half. And now he's a walkie-talkie, like quantumly linked across the universe.
I've been reading the
What?
new Mike Brooks book, The Big DACA, for those of you who don't know. Check it out. It's great. Continue, Shane. Let's go on to your number one.
My number one is quite specific, and it is the Black Legion. You don't paint as much gold
How
trim.
vague. How broad. Man.
Yeah. I named one squad of Chaos Space Marines. No, so I'm this way with my sports teams. I'm this way with my anything that I like to follow, which is when I go to the McDonald's, I order cheeseburgers and fries or nuggets and fries. A Big Mac is quite nice, but I think they charge too much for it. What am I talking about McDonald's for? The reason. I like the thing that's on the box. Right? If you're known for the thing, that's the thing that I would like to enjoy.
Oh, you're a bandwagoner.
I am a little bit of a front runner is more like it.
You're an egotistical bandwagoner.
Like Patrick Mahomes just keeps on throwing touchdown passes and winning Super Bowls. All of a sudden, I'm a Chiefs fan. Not so much because I'm not even so concerned about the winning, but I do like to be a part of the greatness, to witness the greatness. And in my mind, the Blue Boys of the Ultramarines are the other side of the coin of the black and gold of the Chaos Boys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really need the rest of them. I've been occasionally painting the rest of them because variety is good.
Yeah.
And, spice of life, all that. But deep down, I just want to have my black armor, gold trim, and all my forces of chaos joined under one banner to bring about a new order for mankind.
Okay. Pretty cool.
Where we chop everybody up.
There it is.
In mass.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I do have something I want to say before we get into our next Space Marine segment. Shane, I have a proposal for the next, how would you say, top 5 list.
The next top 5.
Yes.
We've
top 5.
We've scarcely finished this top 5, and you want to make another top 5?
Top 5.
I hope the people like
Gods in the Warp.
What?
Top 5 Gods in the Warp.
There's hardly 5.
Oh, is there? We'll see you later, ladies and gentlemen.
And now our exclusive Space Marine segment. I don't have one.
Okay, I got one that's pretty good.
Do you?
Yeah.
Hit him.
Did you know that in the Space Wolves, they're the only Space Marine faction with a legitimately obese Space Marine? We'll see you later, ladies and gentlemen.